This year's Super Bowl isn't just about football. It's also about a surprising cultural moment that's already sparking debate. The president publicly reacted to the 2026 Super Bowl performers, and his words instantly went viral, without him even planning to attend the game. But why did this announcement become such a big talking point? And what does it reveal about the relationship between pop culture, politics, and one of the biggest events on Earth? Let's break down what actually happened and why this story is bigger than it looks. The 2026 Super Bowl is set to feature two massive names, Green Day opening the event and Bad Bunny headlining the halftime show. Both artists have global fan bases, massive streaming numbers, and long histories of shaping pop culture. So when the president commented on their selection in an interview, it quickly became headline news. According to publicly reported statements, he described the performers as a terrible choice and said he was anti-them. He also added that he would not attend this year's Super Bowl, although he clarified that the performers were not the main reason, saying the location was simply too far away. On the surface, it looks like a simple disagreement over music and entertainment. But the reaction exploded online for a deeper reason. This isn't just about music. It's about how entertainment, politics, and global audiences intersect during major events like the Super Bowl. And that's where things get interesting. Green Day has been known for decades not just as a rock band, but as a group that often incorporates social and political themes into their music. They've modified lyrics in the past to comment on current events, sold charity merchandise, and openly shared their views. Bad Bunny, on the other hand, represents something different but equally powerful: a global cultural movement, Latino representation in mainstream pop, and a massive international fan base that goes far beyond the US. He's spoken publicly about cultural identity, his audience, and decisions around touring, which have sometimes intersected with political conversations. So when these two acts were chosen for the Super Bowl stage, arguably the most watched entertainment platform of the year, it was always going to generate conversation. The president's comments simply amplified that conversation in a big way. The Super Bowl isn't just a sports event. It's one of the largest media moments in the world, where music, advertising, culture, and public opinion all collide in real time. When high-profile political figures comment on performers, it naturally becomes part of a broader cultural narrative. Some people see it as free expression, others see it as part of a growing trend where entertainment and politics increasingly overlap. And this overlap is exactly why the story went viral. Because it's not just about liking or disliking a performer, it's about what these artists symbolize to different audiences. But here's the twist most people missed. Despite the headlines, the president also said he would consider attending if the event were closer, and emphasized that the performers were not the sole reason for skipping. That nuance was largely overshadowed by the bold quotes that spread across social media. This story shows how modern media works. A short quote becomes a headline. The headline becomes a trending topic, and the trending topic turns into a global conversation within hours. In reality, most of the coverage focused on a few sentences, while the full context was more measured and less dramatic. But in the age of viral clips and short-form content, nuance often disappears. And that's what makes moments like this perfect for discussion. Not because they're shocking, but because they reveal how fast narratives form online. Once the comments went public, reactions online were immediate and deeply divided. Supporters of the president saw his words as honest criticism of performers who have openly disagreed with his policies. Fans of Green Day and Bad Bunny, on the other hand, viewed the statement as another example of how music and politics are becoming increasingly entangled. But what really fueled the viral moment wasn't just disagreement, it was the scale. The Super Bowl reaches hundreds of millions of viewers globally, so any statement connected to it instantly becomes global news, regardless of whether it's about football, music, or politics. And this is where the conversation shifts from personal opinion to cultural influence. Major music performances at events like the Super Bowl often carry symbolic meaning. Artists aren't just performers, they're brands, cultural icons, and sometimes voices for social topics. Green Day has built a reputation for incorporating social commentary into their music. Bad Bunny has become a symbol of global Latino culture in mainstream entertainment. So when a political leader publicly criticizes these choices, it creates a symbolic clash. Political authority versus cultural influence. It's not about who is right or wrong. It's about how modern culture is shaped by two powerful forces, government and entertainment, and how they constantly interact in public view. And that interaction is becoming more visible than ever. The Super Bowl halftime show isn't just a concert. It's one of the most valuable media slots in the world, with brands paying millions for seconds of attention. When controversy or debate surrounds the performers, it can actually increase viewership, social engagement, and overall attention. In other words, even criticism can amplify the event. This means that, intentionally or not, public commentary from high-profile figures often becomes part of the Super Bowl's marketing ecosystem. And that's the paradox. Criticism can fuel curiosity. Curiosity fuels views, and views drive the biggest night in sports, even bigger. Both Green Day and Bad Bunny have addressed social topics in the past, but they've also emphasized that their performances are about fans, culture, and music. Bad Bunny has spoken about representing his community and heritage on global stages. Green Day has long positioned their music as a reflection of personal expression and commentary. So their Super Bowl performances aren't just entertainment. They're statements of identity, history, and artistic voice. That's why the reaction to the president's comments wasn't just political. It was cultural, emotional, and global. Here's what most headlines didn't highlight. The president also clarified that skipping the event was primarily about travel distance, not just the performers. But in the fast-moving news cycle, the most dramatic quotes dominate attention. Nuance gets buried, context gets shortened, and public perception becomes shaped by a few viral lines. This pattern isn't unique to this story. It's how modern media narratives often form, and understanding that is key to understanding why this moment felt bigger than it actually was. So what happens next? Will this debate fade before kickoff, or will it grow as the Super Bowl approaches? And could this controversy actually make the halftime show even more watched than usual? The answer reveals something important about how attention works in the digital age, and why cultural clashes often become the most powerful marketing moments of all. There's a reason stories like this explode online. It's not just about politics, music, or sports, it's about attention. When two massive cultural forces collide, like a global superstar performer and a political leader, the story becomes instantly shareable. People feel the need to react, comment, and take sides, even if they don't follow football or music closely. Psychologists call this the conflict-curiosity effect. When two influential figures or groups clash, the human brain is wired to pay attention, and platforms reward attention with visibility. That means moments like this don't just happen, they scale by design. The Super Bowl is one of the biggest examples of the attention economy in action. Advertisers, artists, leagues, and media companies all compete for a few hours of global focus. When unexpected stories emerge, especially involving celebrities or leaders, they become part of that economy. Every tweet, article, and video adds another layer of engagement. So ironically, criticism can become promotion. Debate becomes marketing, and headlines become fuel for the biggest show of the year. This is why the conversation around these performers may actually boost interest in the halftime show, rather than hurt it. This moment also reveals something deeper about modern culture. Music, sports, and politics used to exist in separate spaces. Today, they overlap constantly in public. Conversation. Artists share opinions, leaders comment on culture. Fans interpret everything through social media narratives. The result is a constant feedback loop where culture shapes politics, and politics shapes culture. The Super Bowl just happens to be one of the biggest stages where this loop becomes visible. So in the end, this story isn't really about liking or disliking Green Day or Bad Bunny. It's about how a single comment can turn a sports event into a global cultural moment. It's about how headlines are formed, how attention spreads, and how modern audiences experience major events. And as Super Bowl day approaches, the real question isn't whether people agree with the performers or the comments. The real question is how this moment will shape the conversation, viewership, and cultural impact of one of the biggest nights of the year.